our presentation on the lived experience of the Irish language in Galway. This is for our user experience design module, and we are group number 3. My name's Liam.
I'm James.
I'm Dara.
I'm Connor.
And I'm Rory. So, why we chose this topic? We all believe there's a decline in the use of Irish around the University of Galway. We used to speak it much more often when we were in secondary school, and we'd like to get to that same level again. As a group, we're all passionate about the Irish language, and we would like to speak it more frequently among our peers. It's also one of the oldest languages in the world, dating back thousands of years, and it would be a shame for it to disappear.
In our first brainstorming session, we discussed the current landscape of Irish in Galway. We thought about which methodologies we would use to best interpret user challenges and how we would design our solution with these pain points in mind. We discussed deliverables and identified different tasks that we would need to carry out.
We used Asana project management software to identify tasks and assign them to group members in this one shared location. This allowed us to see the tasks that we have to do and keep us on track for the project. We ranked all the tasks from a high, medium to low priority. We ticked off tasks as we completed them, which allowed us to stay on track and complete a smooth project.
Data gathering. The participants of the focus group came up with the idea of an Irish language app where you could access features such as a map of Irish-friendly locations, learning tools, social events, and media resources.
We conducted a short survey to understand the real pain points around using Irish in daily life. The goal was to see how people currently engage with the language and whether or not a digital solution would help. We asked users which situations would motivate them to use Irish more regularly and had them rank 5 features that were mentioned in our focus group.
We conducted 3 interviews with students where we asked questions about the Irish language. One question that gave insightful answers was, has your Irish declined since school?
I used to use it all the time in secondary school and I just don't use it up here.
Almost never. Since I left secondary school, probably haven't spoken it outside home. My sister's an Irish teacher, so sometimes we might be speaking in the house, but apart from that, never.
It declined, especially after leaving school. A lack of overall willingness or confidence in the Irish language.
After we conducted the interviews in the focus group, we created an affinity diagram to display key results from each. A recurring theme was hesitancy to speak Irish and fear of being judged, and not having access to an environment to experiment with the language. In order to have accurate results, we ensured fair questions without bias. Looking at the results, 90% of respondents had some Irish but didn't use it regularly. On top of this, most wanted to speak the language more, especially in social settings, and almost everyone said that they would be open to an app that supports this. Valued features were beginner-friendly spaces and a map of Irish-friendly locations. These insights helped guide the design of our first paper prototype.
Firstly, we identified the problems we wanted to solve in our solution. The problems were a lack of opportunity to speak Irish, fear of being judged, lack of vocabulary, and no environment to speak Irish in comfortably. Secondly, we paired up and worked on basic paper prototypes of the solution.
Next, we came together to combine the best aspects from each sketch and prototype our epicenter. We identified our epicenter to be the map feature, as this is imperative to address the main pain points of our users. We collaborated and explored different ways to display features, which were shaped by our first paper prototypes.
Testing the low-fidelity prototype. Next, we asked a potential user to interact with our prototype to ensure our design was intuitive and aligned with user expectations and conventions.
Only changes I think we made is maybe the settings button can be moved over to the corner, which is kind of nominal. Yeah. I think that because it's an Irish app, it should probably have an option to be put in Irish.
Yeah. Would you have any preference of how that could be done?
I think maybe like a button in the top right corner here, like you see an Irish dictionary is like GA/EM, so you can kind of just click forward and back, and maybe a toggle or something like that.
High fidelity prototype. Having implemented user feedback from our user testing, we developed a high fidelity prototype. We then conducted a talk aloud session with a potential user to evaluate our design choices.
Okay, so straight off the bat I can see that you split it into both Irish and English. I assume that if I press the toggle up in the top right corner that I'd be able to switch between the two languages. The homepage is very informative. You've got a list of upcoming events and a list of recent events, and I assume that if I press this button here I'd be brought to a list of upcoming events. So then if I was to go onto book, I assume I can purchase a ticket. One thing that could be helpful here is to purchase multiple tickets or to remove a ticket that was already purchased. Then if I was to click onto the map, I assume I'd be brought to the map. Here I can see a list of Irish businesses around Galway and their ratings. It's very user friendly because I can zoom in or I can zoom out. Then I could go to the book page, which I assume brings me to learnings. And here I've got a crossword or a Wordle. And again, I can toggle it between English and Irish. And I can look up words in the Irish dictionary.
Here is our homepage in both English and Irish. We used a minimalist design to ensure ease of use and a distraction-free interface. We added the toggle language feature as mentioned in previous user interactions and reorganized the navigation bar and the recent events section. Here's our events page. Again, it features the toggle between English and Irish. It also has a search feature and filters and a list of upcoming events.
This is our events page that the user is presented with when they click on an event within the app. We took on some feedback from our high fidelity prototype testing where the user outlined that she would like to change the quantities upon checkout. This is our map page where users can explore different locations around Galway which have been identified as Irish friendly. These locations might support things like discounts when ordering in Irish or the open use of Irish in the location.
Finally, we have the learning page. This is where users will improve their vocab, play fun Irish word games, and explore the Irish language through the dictionary functionality.
Learnings and reflections. We found that the early user engagement reshaped our perception of the issue. The impacts of user experience methods were far more valuable than we originally envisioned. Small sample sizes still produced meaningful insights. We only surveyed 21 people, but there are still many common answers. Prototypes don't need to be detailed, they just need to communicate ideas well enough for testing. We realized the value of listening rather than making assumptions in user experience design.
That's the end of our video.
Thanks for watching.
Created using